Justin Bieber, I thought marriage was going to fix all my problems. He ends up in court in a bitter divorce battle. I can hear the snickering and laughter of all of you who have been through a divorce or two in your lifetime. Yes, you're right. Marriage doesn't fix anything. What I believe people get married for is still all the wrong reasons. The number one reason people get married is because of mind control. Yes, you heard me. People get married because of mind control. And codependency. They're looking for someone to complete themselves. You can't find yourself in another person. You only find yourself by learning to understand yourself. I still get hit on by old men who are looking for someone to caretake them, clean their house for them, and cook their food for them. Still, I tell them flat out their perfect woman is at Molly Maid. It's not me, and I know I signed up for a bigger job than just cleaning their house. What's more, I'm with someone already. And even though you may try to insult him, what you say about Ivo tells me more about you than it does about Ivo. That is directed to someone in particular. I can even tell you have a complex about the fact you're balding because you sure are jealous of Ivo's long hair. The fact of the matter is, women have to know how to cut grass and men have to learn how to cook. Those jobs that, in my parents' days, were supposedly gender-specific, you have to have at least a cursory knowledge of. And it's your parents' job to teach you because schools don't bother to anymore. I know a lot of young people follow me, so I'm putting out a message that appeals to all ages. The only thing that schools do is prepare you for a life of working in the matrix, and marginally at best. Schools are part of the agenda as well. They always have been. You'll notice as well the curriculum is moving away from teaching you how to think, but it is about learning how to use a computer. Let me state the facts. Whether you've been in an overtly abusive family situation or not, you've been traumatized. You heard me. Let me say it again. Whether you've been in an overtly abusive family situation or not, you've been traumatized. Why am I making such bold statements? You came into this earth not remembering who you are. You came in with soul connection, but you lost a lot of it at about age 3 when you started learning how to adapt to an intellectually dominant world. You lost many of your intuitive abilities when you were a child, including telepathy. Humans are naturally telepathic. We're born that way, but it's like anything else, you don't use it, you lose it. Cutting yourself off from natural parts of yourself is traumatizing. Becoming a partial person when you were born as a whole person is traumatizing. I remember crying my eyes out constantly as a young girl because of what was being done to me. I still have parts of my young life I don't remember much of at all. From about 7 to 12 years old, the only thing I remember is Captain Kirk and Star Trek and reading books about ETS. That's all. You cannot find someone to complete you. You were born whole, and it's that wholeness you have to find in yourself again, by going through a process of going within to figure out who you really are. This may mean time alone with no matrix interaction in order to do so. What's more, if you're trying to find someone to do the jobs around the house that you don't know how to do, if you're trying to find someone to express emotions because you're too emotionally repressed to do it yourself, and yes, I know people in codependent relationships like this, then you need to stop learning to relate dysfunctionally to others and start learning to be yourself. Ivo, there are other reasons why your relationship is doomed to fail. You are naturally attracted, via universal law, to people who carry the same or diametrically opposite wounds as you have. If you are a woman who has issues with a tyrannical father, then you will seek out a man to mate with who is a tyrant. This is because you must learn to understand yourself through continually being exposed to the same energy that made you this weak. This is universal law. The reason you are being exposed to the same energy that weakened you is so you can become stronger. If your partner, however, is not willing to change, you will have a stalemate, and for many it is reason to seek a new partner because you are told that your partner is there to meet your needs. However, remember, you must meet theirs as well. Understanding what their needs are is a good idea before you commit to them. For Sharon, it is easy. The men who approach her want their homes cleaned, they want food cooked for them, and they want sex, and they assume she is available because she appears to be single. Me, they also assume that I want so little from my life. I do not. They also assume they can decide what's right for me, because there's a basic assumption in there that because I'm a woman that's all I can do. It drives me nuts. I know it's springtime, so there are more of them afoot. I'm a responsible woman, and what appeals to me is someone equally responsible for himself, not an irresponsible person who hasn't learned to even do life's basics. Ivo, which is a good point, my love, that eventually your desire becomes someone who is like you rather than your diametrical opposite. Those who are attracted to their opposites do so because they have wounds to heal. Sometimes this can be the strongest attraction. My super even started talking to me about his cousin, and he started laughing when I started spewing out my disgust at that type of lifestyle, the lifestyle my mother led and wanted me to follow in her footsteps, I might add. He laughed when I discussed the lifestyle type and how angry I was that men kept on trying to get me to want to live it, despite the fact they had nothing to offer me. He thought it was funny and talked about his own control battle with his wife. OMFG. Women do it to raise children, and that is a worthwhile endeavor, to be sure. But the rest of it you can keep. But this guy was having a laugh over it. I don't normally see him laughing, by the way, normally he's very serious. So you can tell he gets a real kick out of this control battle he has going. Ivo, so you see universal law and your mother's karma continually being presented in your life? Yes. I know these are relationships defined by men and controlled through dominance. No thank you. I'm as free as I can be, and it's by living alone. There's no freedom in any relationship they have to offer me, thank you very much. I'll bet there are men out there thinking the same of women, all they want is financial support and someone to mow the lawn and clean the eaves. Strauss. Well, if you're complaining about this type of woman, the dependent type, then clearly you're meant for something more. So honor that. By the way, it turns out he's a nice enough man for a neighbor. I could have done a lot worse in this town with all the drug problems and violence here. I ended up taking him to the grocery store and Canadian Tire to get a can opener. I don't mind taking him shopping because he has to pay for cabs to get around or take the city bus, which is a job in itself, especially for an old man. They don't have a lot of social services here for the elderly like they did in Toronto. But his cousin, who's my super, got the church ladies working to assist him, so he is getting some help. So, on with our topic. Then there was my sister's admission. I settled. Yeah, think. What did you settle for? A house. You knew you couldn't get one without his money. I just shake my head. I can see through these things so easily. Ivo, that is because you would not do it to a man. I put forth to you that these are financial partnerships, not love relationships. They are relationships built on mutual dependency. Yes. That's the Matrix is doing. Make people settle for a lifestyle of the Matrix is choosing, not following their soul's path. Then they have created the archetypes of the tyrannical father and dark mother to continue the pain of generational child abuse on from one generation to the next. If you've escaped this, then your parents could hold more light than many others. Consider yourself fortunate. Ivo, you must understand that whether you realize it or not, you are seeking completion and you use others as your mirror. No human wants to exist as a part of their true selves. No human does. Some adjust to it, others have been subjected to this pattern for so many lifetimes they know nothing better. But now with this planet ascending, this pattern will be particularly difficult to try to live with. Your need to know yourself, to find yourself, to become a seeker of the light will become even stronger than it was for people like Sharon, who was on a lifelong quest to wake up and understand herself, and yes, this started with her attraction for Captain Kirk, who was the commander of a starship as I am, and who also had green eyes. This truth resonated with her, as your truths will resonate with you. Sharon was also overwhelmed by Star Wars and she went to see the first movie 10 times because that was her truth as well. Do you play poker though, Ivo? Ivo, I play many games well, but yes, Kirk was a gambler. The man who always beat the odds. The divine feminine is not born on earth to serve as a housemaid and cook. These are not their jobs. They must be done because you do not have the technological advancement that our people have, but they are anyone's job, not just the woman's, and if the children learn to pitch in, then they too will make short work of it as they mature and find their own homes. I think younger people are getting away from that, but believing that getting married is going to solve all your problems lacks a lot of insight. You have to learn to work as one unit. You have to become united using media such as finances, which is a system designed to enslave and to control us, so you have to master its divisiveness within your marriage. Kudos to those that have. You have to find a workable solution between the two of you, and if both of you have addictions or issues around spending money, then you have a lot of healing to do, together. If one person isn't willing to heal, then the whole relationship can go down the pipes. The first thing is be the person who wants to heal through relationship, because that's what's going to happen, and the next thing is find someone else who thinks the same way and is willing to go through the good, the bad, and the hell of becoming a whole person again. You naturally do this, it's a normal part of being human, to become whole again, but we fight it when we're in the matrix and living by its dictates. That's why we go up in vibration as soon as we've aced the dimensional school we're in. We graduate and go up to retrieve more of our wholeness in another dimensional level. The only way that God could create humanity to express him/herself with was by fracturing into pieces. Those pieces are us. As we retrieve more of our wholeness, we become one again with the Creator. That's the real reason for incarnating, not becoming dependent on other people for support. Ivo, the other thing to keep in mind when you relate to others is that you are always being prompted to create lush. This is done by arguing and fighting. When you marry a person, you marry their demonic attachments as well. They will come home from work with perhaps a few new ones, as the child next door did one day. He brought home a demonic from school that took issue with Sharon, and the child was made to insult and attack her, completely out of character for him. He is normally a very sweet boy. Me, yes, I realized it though. I didn't say anything. Ivo, these are the things you must be cognizant of when you relate to anybody, but especially when you decide to commit to a lifetime of loving one person and raising a family with them. Is there success to be had in marriage? Yes, there is. But marriage takes work. Meeting a partner you want to commit to for a lifetime is wonderful, but know there is a lot of work involved. Everything we have taught you in all our videos pertains to this special relationship as well. There is no exception. I know many people who have brought the battle of the sexes into their primary relationship, so it becomes a control relationship instead of one of mutuality. There is no battle of the sexes, this is all divide and conquer manipulation by the DS. You have to be the partner who takes responsibility, can admit it when you're mistaken, because you realize that making a mistake is only that unless you make a big shaming deal out of it. Mistakes are part of a learning process, that's all. Stop blaming your partner too. Shame and blame need to stay out of your relationships, particularly this one. Cooperation has to replace competition. Ivo, and you must find a partner who is equally humble and ready to admit their mistakes and to work together to correct them. It is not rocket science, but your world is so off balance right now that loving relationships are few and far between, being substituted for dependencies of control. When you add the likelihood of financial troubles, inability to save, a temperament predisposed to short-term gains and unwillingness to take responsibility, then you have what many people are fighting in their relationships with others. Many of you spend more time on your computer than you do learning to relate to other people, and this is detrimental to your relationships and certainly to your seeking wholeness. You are thwarting your soul's will for wholeness. The statement that Bieber makes, "I thought marriage would solve all my problems," indicates he has not grown up yet. He is irresponsible, does not take responsibility for his own problems, and is ready to give them to his spouse. This is not a good choice for a mate, not at all. We have to look at these things now, as Earth changes. It was always necessary, but as Earth changes now, personal responsibility and one's willingness to exercise it is at the forefront of all issues on the planet. Thank you, Ivo. I think we've said enough. But that's a good point to end on. What was important 10 years ago, taking personal responsibility, is especially becoming important now. We have to take the Earth back from those who stole it from us, and from marauding species who would overtake us in future. If we're not responsibly protecting our world, we're just sitting ducks for the next bunch of thieves. Ivo, correct. Personal responsibility is important. That is why, of course, they have discouraged it within you. Yes, that too. Ivo, one last relevant point, my love, and that is your global system of money making and spending, your global financial system, has been installed over the true system of humanity, that of living to become whole again, of healing one's weaknesses and standing in one's strength again. It is a false system that you are living by, and it cannot meet your true needs. Many of you believe it will, but this is part of the lie you have been told. Ivo, my love, thank you for your work today. I know you grow tired of having to prepare the house to leave it, but I assure you this next attempt will not fail. I know. I have to have patience. But like I said, I've been living out of boxes for over 3 years now, and my house is a shell of its normal beautiful state. So it's hard. But then I realize this isn't about me, and I have to get out of my own way. It's about what the people of Vega want to give to the people of Earth, so I have to go with it no matter how uncomfortable I am. Ivo, indeed. This is true. You work through issues as they arise, and I am proud of you. Just think how much info I'll have to relay back to Earth when I get on your ship. It's going to be awesome. Ivo, photos and video as well. Me, I can't wait. Ivo, nor can I, my love, nor can I.